They're the game breakers, the playmakers, the finishers. But even the best backs in the world have weaknesses, and sometimes all it takes is one to turn the tide of a match. From fly halves crumbling under pressure to wingers watching from the sidelines, these positions aren't as flawless as they look. Let's break it all down. Welcome back to the channel where we explain all things rugby union, from the laws and tactics to the roles and responsibilities of every position. In the last video, we tackled the forwards and exposed where each one is vulnerable. Today, it's time to turn our attention to the backs. They might be faster, flashier, and more fun to watch, but each one carries a weakness that can be exploited. Whether you're a back yourself, a coach, or just love the game, understanding these soft spots is essential. Let's kick things off with the link man, scrum half, number 9, starting with the conductor of the orchestra. Scrum halves are the one who keeps the game moving, connecting the forwards and backs with quick, precise passes. The tempo of the entire game often hinges on the scrum half's decisions, whether it's speeding up the attack or ensuring quick, clean ball from the breakdown. Wearing the number 9 jersey, the scrum half is usually the smallest player on the field, but don't let their size fool you. They're the tactical masterminds, orchestrating the flow of the game. They've got to be everywhere, at the breakdown, in the line out, and always ready to feed the ball at just the right moment. But as much as they control the tempo, the scrum half's biggest weakness lies in the pressure of constant decision-making. The scrum half is a player who faces split-second decisions on nearly every play. Do they go for a quick pass, or do they take the ball themselves and try to gain ground? Should they kick for territory or pass to the backs? They're often caught between wanting to maintain speed and accuracy while also reading the opposition's defense. The risk here is that, in the face of this relentless decision-making, the scrum half can often rush their passes or decisions. One wrong move, and it can lead to a turnover, a high pass, or even a poor kick. If the opposition applies pressure and the scrum half starts to doubt their decision-making, things can quickly unravel. Then there's the physical toll. While scrum halves are often quick and agile, they're also under constant pressure in defensive situations. They're the ones who have to defend rucks, challenge at the breakdown, and tackle players much bigger than them. This can wear them down throughout the game, and fatigue might lead to sloppy passes, missed tackles, or slow decision-making. Another vulnerability is their tendency to get caught in no man's land, not quick enough to cover the breakdown and not close enough to the backline to launch an attack. Scrum halves can sometimes get isolated, especially if they've committed too far forward and the defense gets a turnover. If they're caught out of position, they're a prime target for counterattacks. Scrum half is a high-pressure position, and when a player begins to feel that pressure, even the smallest mistake can turn a game. They've got to be on the ball and confident, always thinking one step ahead. In the number 10, the fly half. Now we're talking about the playmaker, the general of the backline. The number 10 is the one who dictates the pace of the game, making decisions that can either create a try-scoring opportunity or result in a turnover. They are the link between the forwards and backs, tasked with directing play and distributing the ball to the right players at the right time. As a fly half, the pressure is immense. The team relies on their ability to read the defense, make accurate kicks, and have the vision to create attacking opportunities. This player has to be a tactical genius, someone who's comfortable with the weight of expectation and can withstand the heat of the game. However, with all this responsibility, the fly half's main weakness often stems from overthinking the game. When things start to get hectic, a fly half's first instinct is often to overanalyze the situation. The pressure to make the perfect decision can lead to hesitation. Should they kick? Should they pass? Should they run it themselves? The need to execute a perfect play can sometimes paralyze a fly half, especially in high-pressure moments. This hesitation can lead to poor kicks, mistimed passes, or worse, getting caught with the ball in hand and being tackled into a turnover situation. It's a fine line between trying to create something special and just letting the game flow naturally. Also, a fly half can often be left isolated when their forwards don't dominate the breakdown or aren't supporting quick enough. This can leave them vulnerable to tackles from bigger defenders. A fly half needs to be quick on their feet, constantly adjusting to the defense, but if they're caught standing still or too focused on orchestrating the game, they become an easy target. But the real risk risk for a fly half is a lack of defensive awareness. While they're often seen as the attacking focal point, fly halves are also tasked with making sure they don't let in easy points. If they fail to track back defensively, or if their tackling technique isn't up to scratch, they can easily be exploited by opposition backs, especially when facing quick wingers or centres. At the end of the day, the fly half is the face of the attack, but overthinking, poor defence or isolation can quickly turn a match from hero to villain. The left and right wingers, wearing 11 and 14. Wingers are speed demons. They're the players who light up the field with their raw pace, getting to the corners and finishing off tries with style. Wingers play on either side of the field, wearing number 11 on the left or number 14 on the right. They're often the ones who score the game-breaking tries, the ones who make the crowd jump out of their seats with a thrilling last-minute sprint. The wing's primary job is simple: get the ball in space, use your speed, and score. They're the finishers, the ones who get the glory. However, there's a massive weakness that comes with that role: the risk of being isolated and ineffective. While wingers are great at making runs and finishing off tries, they often find themselves in a position where they're waiting for the ball to come to them. If the attacking play isn't flowing in their direction, they can often be left out of the play entirely. This isolation leaves them just standing at the touchline, watching the game unfold and hoping for a chance to get involved. But that's not the worst of it. Wingers can also struggle with defensive responsibilities. When the ball swings wide and the opposition gets quick ball out to the backs, wingers have to make decisions on whether to commit to a tackle, chase the ball, or cover their opposite number. If they misread the situation, they're left out of position, and an easy try could follow. Additionally, wingers can be exposed in tight defensive situations. When the ball's in close quarters, like at a ruck or maul, they're sometimes forced to step into the forwards territory, which is a tough ask. Their lack of size and strength compared to the forwards often leaves them vulnerable to being steamrolled in tight situations. Wingers have a high-risk, high-reward job. When it works, they're heroes. But when the game isn't going their way, they can be the first to feel the frustration of being sidelined or out of position. The centres. Inside muscle at 12, outside flair at 13. The centre positions are where the game's flair meets its grit. The inside and outside centres are the heart of the backline, straddling the line between attack and defence. These players aren't just the glue that holds the backline together. They're often the ones who make or break a game with a single line break or tackle. The inside centre, wearing the number 12, is the battering ram of the midfield. They're the ones who take the hard hits, crash through the defensive line, and create space for their outside centre. They have to be both a strong runner and a solid distributor, often taking the ball into contact and then quickly releasing it for a teammate to capitalise on. The outside centre, 13 on the other hand, has the job of exploiting space, creating attacking options, and often being the one to finish off attacking moves. But while these two positions are essential to any backline, they share one major weakness: getting caught between attacking and defending roles. Inside centres are often tasked with running hard into contact to break through the opposition's defensive line. However, because they are so focused on breaking through tackles, they can become predictable and easy to read. Opposing defences often know exactly what's coming, which can lead to a lack of creativity and ultimately result in a turnover. The outside centre faces a similar challenge. They need to use their speed and agility to cut through gaps in the opposition, but they also have to remain disciplined in defence. With all the emphasis on the attacking side, the outside centre can sometimes fail to focus enough on defensive positioning, leaving gaps in the midfield or allowing their opposite number to exploit a mismatch. Both centres are responsible for reading the game quickly and making fast decisions. But if they overcommit to one side, whether it's attacking or defending, they leave themselves exposed. The inside centre can get sucked into contact too often, while the outside centre can be too eager to chase the ball and leave their defensive line vulnerable. Another critical weakness for both positions lies in their handling of high-pressure situations. Centres have to deal with high-speed moves and tricky passes. If they hesitate or misjudge a pass, it can result in a turnover or a lost opportunity. The expectation for both positions to be powerful and agile in attack, while also solid in defence, creates a fine line. If either of these positions starts to falter, even in the smallest way, it can send ripples through the entire backline. However, when these players find their balance, they become an unstoppable force. They can break through defensive lines, create space for wingers, and keep the pressure on throughout the game. But when they get stuck in the middle trying to do both without excelling at one, their weakness becomes all too apparent. And finally, the fullback at 15. The last line of defense, the safety net that every team relies on when the opposition breaks through. Wearing the number 15 jersey, the fullback is tasked with sweeping up kicks, making crucial tackles, and supporting the attack from the back. They are often the unsung heroes, quietly cleaning up mistakes and ensuring that a breakaway doesn't turn into a try. But with all this responsibility, the fullback has a glaring weakness: the pressure of being the final defender. When the opposition charges down the field, the fullback often finds themselves alone, facing down the attackers. They must read the game quickly, make the right decision, and execute flawless tackles. If they misread the situation or fail to make the tackle, it's usually a try, and they're the one who'll be blamed. The entire defense rests on their shoulders, and this pressure can sometimes lead to hesitation or mistakes. Fullbacks are also often involved in counterattacks, as they are the last player to receive the ball when a clearing kick is made or when an attack breaks down. In these situations, the fullback needs to assess whether to kick the ball away, run it back, or pass to a teammate. The problem is that with so much space to cover and so many decisions to make, it's easy to become isolated and caught in no man's land. If they hesitate for even a moment, they risk being tackled or turned over. Another key weakness for fullbacks is their vulnerability under the high ball. Fullbacks often have to contest high kicks from the opposition, a situation that can put them under immense pressure. The ability to judge the ball in the air, secure it cleanly, and avoid collisions with oncoming defenders is a skill that every fullback must master. But when fullbacks fail to claim the ball confidently or get knocked in the process, they risk a turnover and putting their team in a tough spot. Finally, while fullbacks are expected to be versatile and strong in both attack and defense, their tendency to be so engaged in defensive duties can sometimes make them less involved in the attacking phase. If the team doesn't generate quick ball or isn't making inroads into the opposition's half, the fullback may find themselves isolated in the backfield, waiting for an opportunity that never comes. When this happens, it can be easy to get frustrated, and in some cases the fullback may end up getting too defensive or too passive in the game. However, the fullback's ability to read the game, take calculated risks, and stay calm under pressure makes them one of the most vital players on the field. It's all about balancing that pressure, being quick with decisions, and providing stability at the back. When they perform well, they're the unsung hero of the match, cleaning up everything and ensuring the team remains in control. But when that pressure becomes too much, the cracks can begin to show and it can cost the team dearly. So there you have it, the key weaknesses of every backline position exposed. These roles come with flair and firepower, but as you've seen, there's always a trade-off. What do you think? Which position do you think is the most vulnerable on the field? If you got value from this breakdown, give it a like, subscribe for more rugby deep dives, and drop your thoughts in the comments below to get the debate going. Did you miss the Forwards edition? Make sure to check that out next to complete the picture. Until next time, keep learning, keep playing, and we'll see you next time on Rugby Decoded. Thanks for watching.